Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
We're looking at some of the big surprises around the league, Grant, that we thought perhaps they might do better than they have. Philadelphia comes to mind, first of all. Some of that talent that they have, of course, some injuries on the point and some weaknesses in goaltending certainly have resulted in a poor result. But here's a group with Ed Snyder as the owner. I remember the year they got bounced by the Bruins and in 4 straight, and the camera kept going to him, and he was so livid. He's an owner with passion, and that team will blow things up when you get rid of the guys like Richards and Carter, just what it seems like on a whim, just to shake things up. That's a passionate owner, and you kind of wonder, well, geez, maybe that's the way the Flames should be. Let's shake things up here. Let's get a little drastic and make something happen. But I remember watching him, and he was so pissed off. And when they lost, he just stormed off his seat, and one announcer said, "I guarantee you, Ed Snyder is going to make changes."
And they do.
Yeah, they do.
I did some research on Ed Snyder. When you say we're going to talk about him, I know this. He's 79 years old, and his new wife is 45.
Speak as if that's a bad thing.
34 years younger.
Okay.
Just recently read an article, this is true, that the best relationship difference, the man should be a little older by about 3.5 years. So Ed Snyder has got it all wrong.
Try that.
He's got it all wrong. Like to marry somebody.
I'm not saying that's right.
He's screwing up.
Yeah, life has been pretty bad for him.
Okay, the way I look at the Flyers, I admire Ed Snyder and the Flyers for what you just said. Being active all the time, making changes. I mean, you always want loyalty. Shouldn't the guy stay around for a long time?
Enough.
You know, Ray Bork should stay a Bruin forever.
Bobby Orr should
Ed Snyder, he doesn't care about that. Are you winning? Are you doing what's right? Nope, you're gone. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But they made some bonehead moves too. They should have stayed. Who's been the best player in the last few weeks in the NHL? Sergei Bobrovsky. Got to watch how I say that last name. Columbus Blue Jackets,
yes.
Mike.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable in goal. Are the Columbus Blue Jackets a good team? No. They're better than the Flames.
They're better than they were last year.
And the goalie
yes.
is making them sounds like Mika Kiprasov from the Calgary Flames last few years.
Yes.
Don't you think if they had hung on to Bobrovsky, I just got to watch how I say that, in Philly, the Flyers would probably be a top 8 team right now. So they kind of blew that, and they went after.
One thing I do like about the Flyers is they have a DNA. They have an identifiable element to them, you know, as do the Bruins. I like that about them. I like.
Are the Flyers like that now, or is it is it more tradition?
No, there's tradition, but they have that in guys like Hartnell, and Giroux's not going to take any crap from anybody. Look what he does to Sidney Crosby. Look what Hartnell does to James Neal. He gets in his cage and he just rattles him, and he's off his game. Those games are some of the best games. If they could say, hey, who would you guys want to play in one game for all the marbles in the NHL? I bet you they would say Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Nobody else would say that, but Philadelphia and their mindset would. They're not playing great, but against Pittsburgh, they could do well.
Do they need, or would they want Jerome McGinley? Does that make them better? I don't know. They say assistant GM for the Flames, John Weisbrod, has been always after Matt Reed, who's a young phenom, or maybe not phenom, a young solid centerman with the Flyers. Great season 2 years ago. Hurt a little bit this year. I don't know if Jerome McGinley helps the Flyers, but there is one destination. People say because of the Weisbrod connection.
Never underestimate Philadelphia. Grant, I want to ask you about the Vancouver Canucks because right now they're fighting for that 8th playoff spot in the West. Their power play right now is ranked 27th in the NHL. You keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. You keep waiting for them to get on fire. You've seen the odd little group of series of wins, and then they falter back. Can you put your hand on that pulse?
I could put my hand on Ryan Kessler not being around, and I think he would a good centerman, a good centerman on any team, and a very good centerman on this team. I think Ryan Kessler's number one. Losing Sammy Salo on the point, they lost him to free agency. I mean, I know he got hurt a little bit, but his slap shot was outstanding. So I say Salo and Kessler on the power play. Not being on the power play has hurt the has hurt them a lot. They don't have the depth at center at all. And they,
Yep.
you know, David Booth keeps on getting hurt, so it's just a lack of talent.
Yeah, and the goaltending situation, actually, I wouldn't make a move right now because you got depth. One guy plays great, one guy plays good.
Yeah, but I agree for that, but they might not be able to afford that, Mike.
Yep.
Without Kessler, without a good guy on the point like a Sammy Salo or another guy on the point, they may have to be forced to make that trade to get some help because they are good enough to be a playoff team. They should be a top 8 team. If they fall, I think they fell into to 7th place the other night.
Yeah.
They have to get back up in the top 8, and so they may have to trade Luongo eventually.
You know, I was interested to hear how everyone had a take on the Anaheim Ducks and with relation to what they were going to do with Corey Perry. And I said, they're not going to trade the guy. I mean, they've got a team that could make a long, long run in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. And you know this guy's the future. They said, well, can they afford it? Well, you can draw a lot of parallels to what Pittsburgh does and the two guys that they have 25% of their cap.
Malkin and Crosby?
Yes, and now that's exactly what Anaheim has. And you knew that he wasn't going to take another team up on an offer because with the arrangement with the CBA, he can sign for 8 years with only one team, and that's the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. $69 million.
They're no longer mighty. It's just the Ducks.
I can't get it out of my head.
You've always been a Disney movie freak. I was surprised, though. Yeah.
Were you?
Well, and I'm glad a team does that because the Ducks have won 12 straight at home.
You mean you like seeing some of the familiar faces stay around, you hypocrite bastard?
No. I don't mean this nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
If the guy's in his mid-30s and just sticking around because
I wasn't that.
Corey Perry, come
Yes.
on now. He's the best power forward in the NHL, not playing center. He's a great player. So to get him and Getzlaf, don't destroy that. They are that good. But next year, maybe Solani comes off the books. Maybe Saku Koivu comes off the books. You know, I think they maybe can make some room. Don't forget, the salary cap goes down $6.5 million next year, too.
Yeah. Buffalo. Ryan Miller at the start of the year was the only thing that kept them in games. Lately, he's been crap. Lately, he's been shooting his mouth off. At what point did they blow up everything in Buffalo? Because I thought, and I went on this show saying, you know what? This team has got a lot tougher, and they've got more sandpaper to them than they ever had, and in that division, that's pretty important. But now, it's just a mess there.
Yeah. Patrick Coletta was suspended 5 games for the hit on Brad Richards, right?
Yeah.
And then he came back, but they didn't play him the first game back. So he goes on TV after a game and says, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I should be playing. So Ryan Miller, what's wrong with a guy saying that?
I'm not saying there's anything
There's
wrong.
nothing wrong. No, I know. There's nothing wrong with a guy saying that. So Ryan Miller says, he's got to grow up. He shouldn't be coming to you guys saying that. What's Ryan Miller saying that for?
Yes, we don't want to talk about this, but
I'll look into it. I'll go talk to him.
the media whore I will talk about it.
Ryan Miller is not the captain, is he? I mean, I don't think he
No.
is. Only Luongo's been a goalie captain, right?
That's as goofy as hell.
So, who is he to say, I'll go talk to, to me, Ryan Miller is saying to everybody, get me out of here. I want to play somewhere else. But that kind of attitude, I don't think anybody wants to touch him.
Yeah.